The sky over Heartland feels heavier than ever. The wind carries a silence that says, something is about to change. Not just for Amy Fleming, but for everyone who calls that ranch home. Because in Season 19, Episode 7, peace won't come easy, and the truth won't stay buried for long. A new day begins at Heartland, but it doesn't feel like any other morning. The golden light stretches across the fields, painting the horses in a soft glow. Amy steps out of the barn, her hands covered in dust, her mind somewhere else. There's a quiet sadness in her eyes, the kind that tells you she's thinking about something she can't quite say out loud. The ranch feels peaceful, but under that calm, there's tension waiting to break loose. It's been months since Amy took on that new horse, the one no one thought she could tame. People said it was too wild, too broken, too much like the pain she's been trying to heal inside herself. But Amy never walks away from a soul in need, not even when her own heart is still learning how to mend. Every soft breath, every step closer to the horse feels like a conversation between two wounded spirits. But something is off. As Amy brushes the horse's coat, she notices the animal's unease. It pulls back slightly, ears flicking at every sound. Amy whispers gently, "It's okay, you're safe here." But the horse doesn't calm down. The moment feels heavier than it should, almost like a warning. Across the yard, Jack watches quietly from the porch. His weathered hands grip his coffee mug as if it's holding his thoughts together. He's seen this look in Amy before, the mix of focus and worry, the way she hides her pain behind work. Jack doesn't say anything, but deep down he knows something's coming, something bigger than a horse or a broken heart. Inside the house, Lou's voice cuts through the stillness. She's on another phone call trying to balance her career, her family, and her life, as if all three are pulling her in different directions. "Yes, I'll be at the town meeting," she says, her voice steady but tired. The walls of Heartland have heard this tone before, the sound of someone pretending to be strong when they're about to break. Lindy runs past her mother's legs, chasing her puppy through the hallway. Her laughter brings a small spark of life into the morning, the kind that reminds everyone why they keep fighting for this place. But Amy barely hears it. Her thoughts are trapped in the silence that follows when the world feels uncertain. As the day goes on, small things start to feel off. The weather shifts suddenly, clouds forming where the sky had been clear. The horses grow restless in their pens. Caleb stops by the ranch to deliver feed, but even he notices the mood. "Everything all right here, Amy?" he asks with a small grin, trying to lighten the tension. Amy forces a smile, but her eyes give her away. "Yeah, just one of those days," she replies. But deep down, she knows it's more than that. Later that afternoon, Amy finds herself alone in the barn again. She leans against a wooden post, listening to the wind outside. It howls like a voice trying to say something she doesn't want to hear. On the shelf beside her sits an old photograph, Ty, holding Lindy as a baby. She picks it up, her thumb brushing over Ty's smile. For a moment, it feels like he's right there, telling her to keep going, to stay strong, to trust her heart. But this time her heart feels uncertain. Jack steps in quietly, his boots echoing on the barn floor. "You all right, Amy?" he asks softly. She nods, still holding the photo. "Yeah, I just miss him today." Jack looks at her for a long moment before saying, "Missing never stops. You just learn to carry it." Amy gives a faint smile, her eyes misty. "I thought I had, but lately I don't know." Jack walks over and rests a hand on her shoulder. "You've been through worse than this. You'll find your way again. You always do." His words are calm, steady, the kind that come from a lifetime of love and loss. But even he feels a chill in the air that doesn't belong. As the sun begins to set, Amy steps outside. The horizon burns with gold and orange, but the beauty can't hide the feeling in her chest that something big is on the way. She looks out at the pasture, at the horses grazing quietly, and whispers to herself, "Please let everything stay the same." But life at Heartland never stands still for long. Then, in the distance, she spots a truck coming down the old road. The dust rises behind it, glowing in the fading light. Amy narrows her eyes. She doesn't recognize it. The truck slows near the gate, and a shadowed figure steps out. For a long moment, neither of them moves. The only sound is the wind through the grass. A strange feeling washes over Amy, part fear, part curiosity. Whoever this is, they're not here by accident. Cut to black. Voiceover. In Heartland, every visitor brings a story, and sometimes a storm. The sound of the truck engine fades, but its echo lingers in Amy's mind. The figure steps out slowly, a man in a worn denim jacket carrying an envelope in his hand. His face is half hidden by the brim of his hat, but his stance feels familiar, almost like a memory that refuses to stay forgotten. Amy takes a hesitant step forward, her heart pounding against her chest. "Can I help you?" she asks, her voice calm but guarded. The man looks up, eyes tired yet steady. "You must be Amy Fleming," he says, his voice low and rough like someone who spent years chasing roads that lead nowhere. "I knew Ty." The name stops Amy in her tracks. The world around her seems to go silent. Even the horses freeze, as if the air itself is holding its breath. For a moment she can't speak. Her fingers tighten around the fence post beside her, trying to anchor herself to something real. "You knew Ty?" she finally manages to say. The man nods, eyes softening. "Yeah, we worked together up north years ago. He saved my life once." Amy feels the ground tilt beneath her. Ty's past was something she never fully understood. Parts of it he'd never talked about, memories he'd kept locked away to protect her. Now, standing in front of her is a piece of that past come to life. Jack steps out from the house, sensing the tension in the air. "Everything all right, Amy?" he calls out. She doesn't answer right away. The man turns, tipping his hat politely. "Name's Cole Matthews," he says. "Didn't mean to intrude, I just needed to return something." He holds out the envelope. Amy takes it carefully. It's old and creased, her name written on it in Ty's handwriting. Her breath catches in her throat. The moment feels too heavy to speak. She thanks him quietly, and he nods before turning back toward his truck. As he drives away, Amy stands frozen, eyes locked on the letter. Jack walks over slowly. "What is it?" he asks. Amy looks down at the envelope, her fingers trembling. "It's from Ty." Inside the house, the kitchen clock ticks loudly, marking each second as Amy stares at the unopened letter. Lou stands nearby, worry in her eyes. "Are you sure you're ready to read it?" she asks softly. Amy doesn't respond. She runs her finger along the edge of the paper, tracing the curve of Ty's handwriting. "He must have written this before he left that last time." Amy finally opens it. The paper unfolds with a soft crackle, like a whisper from the past. Ty's voice fills her mind as she reads the words. His tone is gentle, honest, and full of love. "Amy, if you're reading this, it means I didn't get to tell you everything I wanted. Life out here can be unpredictable. I've learned that sometimes the people we try to protect are the ones who need to know the truth the most. There's something I never told you, a promise I made years ago before we met. I didn't break it, Amy, but it's time someone does something about it. You'll understand when you meet the man who brings you this letter. Take care of our girl. And no matter what happens, trust your heart. It's stronger than you think." Always, Ty. Amy's eyes fill with tears. The letter trembles in her hands as her mind spins with questions. What promise? What truth? And why now, after all this time? Lou reaches out to comfort her, but Amy gently pulls away. "He said I'd understand when I met that man. But I don't." Her voice cracks. "I don't understand any of this." Jack listens quietly from the corner. He knows grief has its own language, one that doesn't always make sense right away. "Sometimes the answers take time," he says. "Ty always had his reasons." Amy looks at him, her expression full of confusion and longing. "But why didn't he tell me?" Jack sighs, eyes heavy with wisdom and sorrow. "Because he was trying to protect you. Same way you're always trying to protect everyone else." That night, Amy can't sleep. The letter sits on her nightstand, its words echoing in her mind. The wind rattles the window, and the barn lights flicker in the distance. Heartland feels different tonight. Not just quieter, but emptier somehow, like it's waiting for something. She gets up and walks outside barefoot on the cool ground. The stars stretch endlessly above her, but she feels small beneath them. In the distance, she sees a light coming from the barn. She walks toward it slowly. Inside, Cole Matthews stands by Ty's old stall, looking at one of the old saddles. "Sorry," he says, startled when he notices her. "I couldn't sleep either." Amy studies him for a moment. "Why did you come here, really?" He hesitates, then says, "Because I owed him. Ty once told me about this place and about you, about Heartland. He said it was the only place that ever made him feel whole. I figured, Maybe it was time I saw it for myself. Amy softens slightly, though her heart still feels like a storm. What did he mean in the letter? What promise was he talking about? Cole looks down at his boots. I think he wanted me to tell you about a project we were working on before he was gone. We were trying to set up a rescue program for wild horses in the north. Ty wanted it to be under Heartland's name someday. Said it was his way of giving back. Amy's eyes widen. A rescue program? Cole nods. He'd already gathered support, funding, even a few animals. But after, everything stopped. I couldn't finish it alone. For a long time, neither of them speaks. Amy walks over to the stall door, resting her hand on the wood where Ty's initials are carved. He always wanted to make the world better, she whispers. Even when no one was watching, Cole nods quietly. That's who he was. Amy turns to face him. Then maybe it's time we finish what he started. The next morning, the ranch comes alive with purpose. Amy tells Jack and Lou about Ty's rescue project. Lou looks unsure at first. Amy, that's a huge task. We're already stretched thin. But Amy's voice is steady now, stronger than it was last night. I know. But this isn't just about Ty. It's about doing something good, something Heartland was always meant for. Jack watches her closely, pride flickering behind his tired eyes. If that's what you want to do, then we'll make it happen. Over the next few days, Amy throws herself into planning. She works with Cole to locate the site Ty once used. They drive out together, following a trail that winds through the mountains. The air grows thinner, colder, and wilder. When they finally reach the old corral, Amy's breath catches. It's abandoned now, the fence is half broken, the sign faded. But she can feel Ty's presence everywhere. In the wind, in the silence, in the space he left behind. This was his dream, Cole says quietly. Amy nods. Then we'll bring it back to life. Back at the ranch, Lou begins to see the bigger picture. She helps Amy organize meetings with local landowners, while Caleb and Jack repair the old trailers. Even Tim, who's been distant lately, steps in to offer help. For a brief time, Heartland feels united again, the way it used to be. But Amy can't shake the feeling that there's more to Ty's message than what's on paper. Late one evening, as she's sorting through Ty's old notebooks in the loft, Amy finds something tucked between the pages, a map, marked with a single red X. Written beside it in Ty's handwriting are the words, "For her to find when she's ready." Her heart skips. She traces the route on the map, realizing it leads to a remote area near the river. The same place Ty once mentioned in stories but never explained. She closes the notebook slowly, knowing deep down that this is only the beginning. Voiceover fades in as the camera pans across the ranch at sunset. In Heartland, every goodbye leaves behind a promise. And sometimes the only way to keep it is to chase it. Cut to Amy looking out over the horizon, holding Ty's map in her hand, determination shining through her tears. The storm that's been brewing has finally begun to move. The morning sun rises over Heartland, but the air feels colder than usual. Inside the kitchen, the coffee pot hisses softly, filling the silence that hangs heavy between Amy and Lou. On the table lies Ty's map, unfolded, smoothed out, marked with its mysterious red X. Lou's eyes stay fixed on it, her brow furrowed. You really think we should chase this? She asks finally, her tone careful but sharp. We don't even know what's out there, Amy. Amy doesn't look up. It's something Ty wanted me to find. That's enough for me. Lou sighs, trying to stay calm. Amy, I understand this means something to you. But we've got the ranch, the horses, the business, the town events. You can't just drop everything to go wandering through the mountains because of a note on an old map. Amy looks up now, her eyes fierce but filled with pain. It's not just a note. It's Ty's words. His dream. You saw the letter, Lou. He wanted this to happen. I can't ignore that. Before Lou can reply, Jack walks in, his hat low over his eyes. He's heard enough to know what's happening. What's all the fuss about? He asks, though his tone already carries the weight of knowing. Lou turns to him. Amy wants to go chasing some old dream Ty had, out past the ridge, near the river. She thinks it's part of that rescue thing. Jack looks at Amy for a long moment. And you're sure about this? Amy nods slowly. I am. I have to be. Jack pulls out a chair and sits, setting his hat down on the table. Heartland's seen its share of dreams, Amy. Some come true. Some cost more than we expect. Amy's expression hardens. You think this is a mistake? Jack shakes his head. No, I think it's dangerous. The weather's been turning rough out there. And you've got a little girl who needs her mom here, not lost on some trail Ty left behind. The words sting, though Jack doesn't mean them to. Amy looks away, fighting back tears. You think I don't know that? Every day I see Lindy's face and I see him in her eyes. But this is all I have left of him that I can still touch, still finish. I need to do this, Jack. Lou stands, frustration building in her voice. And what happens when something goes wrong? When you get hurt? We've all been trying to move forward, Amy. You can't keep living in the past. The room goes silent. The only sound is the ticking clock and the wind outside pushing against the windows. Amy stands slowly, her voice trembling but strong. Maybe I'm not living in the past. Maybe I'm trying to understand it so I can finally move forward. Without another word, she folds the map and walks out, leaving Lou and Jack in heavy silence. That afternoon, the tension seeps through every corner of the ranch. Even the horses seem restless, picking up on the unease that hangs in the air. Tim arrives, his boots crunching on the gravel, unaware of the storm he's about to walk into. Heard there's something going on, he says, stepping into the barn where Jack is working. Jack doesn't look up from the saddle he's repairing. You could say that. Tim leans against a post, crossing his arms. Let me guess, Amy found another wild cause to chase? Jack sighs. It's not just another cause. It's about Ty. That stops Tim for a moment. Ty? Jack explains everything. The letter, the man who came, the rescue program, the map. When he's done, Tim lets out a low whistle. So she's really thinking about going out there? She's already halfway to deciding, Jack mutters. Tim nods slowly. You know, part of me gets it. Ty was her whole world. But the other part, the father part, thinks she's losing sight of what's right in front of her. Jack looks up now, eyes tired but sharp. You ever think maybe that's the only way she knows how to heal? Doing something that matters? Tim frowns. Healing's one thing, Jack, but leaving her daughter behind? That's not healing. That's running. Their words hang heavy between them. Both men care deeply, both have lost too much, and both are afraid for Amy, just in different ways. Later that evening, Lou and Tim stand outside near the barn, their conversation hushed but heated. You have to talk to her, Lou insists. She'll listen to you, Tim shakes his head. Amy doesn't listen when her heart's set on something. You should know that by now. She's putting herself in danger, Lou snaps. And she's dragging the family through it again. Every time we think things are getting normal, something pulls her back into Ty's shadow. Tim looks at her quietly. You ever think that maybe Ty's shadow is what keeps this family together? Lou stares at him, unsure how to respond. For a moment, she sees the truth in his words, that everything Heartland has become still beats with Ty's memory. But the fear of losing Amy overshadows the thought. Inside the barn, Amy saddles Spartan. Her movements are slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial. The way she brushes his mane, tightens the strap, checks his reins, it's as if she's preparing for something sacred. She whispers softly to the horse, her voice trembling, You ready to find him? Lindy's small footsteps echo behind her. Mommy, where are you going? Amy freezes. She turns, kneeling to meet her daughter's eyes. Just out for a little ride, sweetheart. I'll be back before you know it, Lindy frowns. Can I come? Amy's heart twists. Not this time. She hugs her tightly, breathing in the scent of her hair. You be good for Grandpa Jack, okay? As she rides off, the sky begins to darken, clouds rolling in from the west. The wind picks up, carrying a warning only the land seems to understand. The camera pans wide, Heartland growing smaller behind her, the horizon stretching endless and uncertain ahead. Back at the ranch, Lou paces by the window, watching the rain begin to fall. She's really gone, she mutters. Jack doesn't respond. He just stares out at the road, knowing that sometimes stopping Amy would mean breaking her spirit, and that's something he could never do. The rain turns to a steady storm, thunder rumbling through the valley. Jack moves to the barn to check on the horses. Lightning flashes, revealing the uneasy faces of the animals. As he moves past Spartan's empty stall, a deep sadness fills his chest. He whispers to himself, Come back home safe, Amy. Out on the trail, Amy rides through the storm. Her jacket is soaked, but she doesn't turn back. The map clutched in her pocket is starting to tear at the edges, the ink smudging from the rain. But her determination burns through every drop that hits her face. She reaches a clearing by the river, the same one Ty had marked. There, half hidden under an old oak tree, she spots something, a wooden box weathered by time. Her breath catches as she dismounts and kneels beside it. She brushes away the dirt, her hands trembling as she opens it. Inside lies a photograph of Ty with a group of people, rescue workers, horses in the background, and a note folded beside it. For Heartland, the place that saves more than horses. Tears mix with the rain on Amy's cheeks. In that moment, she understands. Ty's dream wasn't just about rescuing horses, it was about rescuing people too. People like him. People like her. Back at the ranch, Lou receives a call from Amy. Her voice crackles through the storm. I found it, Lou. I found what he wanted us to see. Lou's voice softens. What is it? Amy smiles faintly through her tears. It's hope. As the storm clears, Amy rides back toward Heartland. The dawn begins to break again, painting the sky in soft gold. She's exhausted, soaked, but alive, more alive than she's felt in a long time. Voiceover fades in. Every family has storms, but sometimes the only way to find peace is to ride through them. Cut to Amy approaching the ranch, Jack waiting by the gate, his expression caught between pride and relief. Lou steps outside too, her eyes glistening as she whispers, she found her way. The family gathers silently as Amy dismounts, the morning light warming the wet earth. She looks at them all, a faint smile on her lips, and says softly, Ty's dream isn't over. It's just beginning. Fade to black, text on screen. Heartland Season 19, Episode 7, Every Storm Brings You Home. Morning light spills over Heartland like a quiet apology after the storm. The grass still glistens with last night's rain, and the air smells of renewal. The camera pans slowly across the ranch, horses grazing, the barn doors opening, the world waking up again. Amy walks across the yard, mud on her boots, her hair damp from the ride. Jack stands by the fence, watching her with that old, knowing look, part pride, part worry, all love. She holds the weathered box close to her chest. Inside, Ty's photo and the note feel like pieces of a puzzle that's only half finished. As she approaches the porch, Lou steps out with 2 cups of coffee. Their eyes meet, tired but connected. You found something, Lou says quietly. Amy nods. I found him, or at least what he was still trying to do. Lou gestures toward the box. What's in there? Amy opens it carefully. The photograph catches the light. Ty standing beside a group of volunteers, a rescue horse behind them, all smiling under the same sun that now shines over Heartland. Lou's expression softens as she studies the picture. He looked happy, she says softly. Amy smiles faintly. He was. This is what he was building, a rescue project that helped horses and people who were broken in their own ways. She unfolds the note again. He wanted Heartland to carry that legacy. Jack steps closer. And you think that's what the map was pointing to? Amy nods. Yes, but there's something else. The man who brought the letter, Cole, he mentioned Ty was working with a partner. Someone who funded part of the project. Someone he trusted. Lou raises an eyebrow. Did he say who? Amy shakes her head. No, but I think I know where to look. She pulls another paper from the box, a folded document marked with Ty's handwriting. Proposal draft, Heartland North. There's an address scribbled in the corner, an office near Hudson. Lou leans forward. Are you saying he had an entire expansion plan? Amy, this could be huge. Amy's tone turns serious. Or dangerous. If someone's been keeping this hidden all these years, we need to know why. That afternoon, Amy and Lou drive into town. The roads are muddy, the clouds heavy but calm. They reach a small office building at the edge of Hudson. Faded sign, locked door, dust-covered windows. A faded logo reads Northern Rescue Foundation. Amy's heart races. Lou peers through the glass. Looks abandoned. Amy knocks anyway. No answer. She tries the door. It creaks open. Inside, the air smells of old paper and forgotten dreams. Files scattered, photos on the wall, one still hanging crooked, Ty standing beside Cole, and another face they don't recognize. A woman. Lou picks up a folder from the desk. Who is she? Amy studies the photo. The woman looks familiar. Long dark hair, soft smile, confident posture. I've seen her before, Amy whispers. At one of Ty's clinics years ago. Lou flips through the papers. Says here her name's Dr. Sarah Milton, veterinary surgeon, co-founder of Northern Rescue. She pauses. Wait, co-founder? Amy's heart skips. That means she worked with Ty directly. Suddenly the door creaks again. Cole steps in, raincoat dripping, his expression unreadable. Didn't think you'd find this place so soon, he says quietly. Amy turns sharply. You knew about this, he sighs. I wanted to tell you, but I wasn't sure how you'd take it. Lou crosses her arms. Try us. Cole looks between them, guilt clouding his face. Sarah was Ty's partner, not just in the project. She was the one who helped fund it, the one who kept it alive after he was gone. She reached out to me a few months ago. Said she found something in Ty's notes, something she was afraid to share. Amy's chest tightens. What kind of something? Cole hesitates. Ty left behind research on about the horses they rescued. He discovered something unusual, a link between the animals' behavior and the changes in their environment up north. Something was causing them to act violently, and it wasn't just trauma. Lou frowns. You mean something environmental? Cole nods. Exactly. Ty thought it was connected to a local construction project. Illegal dumping, chemicals in the water, maybe worse. He was getting close to proving it before... He trails off, not needing to finish. Amy's hands tremble as she clutches Ty's photo. He was trying to protect them, and someone didn't want him to. The silence that follows feels sharp. Lou steps closer. You think his death wasn't... Amy shakes her head quickly. No, he wasn't killed. But maybe what happened wasn't random either. Maybe it's all connected, Cole nods grimly. Sarah's been digging into it ever since. She's the reason I came to find you. She wanted you to know Ty's work isn't finished. And now she's gone missing, Lou gasps. Missing? Cole nods again. Vanished 2 weeks ago. No calls, no messages. Her lab's empty. Amy feels the world shift beneath her again. The storm she thought had passed begins to rise inside her once more. Then we find her, she says firmly. Whatever Ty started and we finish it. For him. For Heartland. Later that night, the wind howls through the open fields again. The ranch is quiet, but no one sleeps. Amy sits by the fire, Ty's letter and the photo spread out on the table. Her mind races. Memories of Ty, his laughter, his long hours working late in the barn. Pieces of the puzzle start fitting together in ways she never expected. Jack enters, slow and steady. You've got that look again, he says softly. Amy glances up. What look? The one you had when you first took on Spartan. Determined, scared, ready to fall apart and hold the world together at the same time. Amy smiles faintly. I don't know what this is, Jack, but it feels like something bigger than just me. Jack nods. Heartland's always been bigger than one person. It's about everyone who ever loved this place and everyone who will. He sits down beside her. Just don't lose yourself chasing ghosts. Amy looks at him, eyes glassy but sure. I'm not chasing ghosts. I'm following his truth. Jack's voice softens. Then make sure it doesn't follow you back. The next morning, Amy and Cole drive out to a small cabin near the edge of Hudson, Sarah's last known address. The place is quiet, too quiet. The front door is slightly open, papers scattered across the floor. Amy steps inside carefully. On the table, there's a folder labeled Project Riverlight. Inside are photos of polluted streams, dead fish, and documents linking a company called North Point Energy to illegal waste dumping. At the bottom is Ty's name, signed as a consultant. Amy's heart sinks. He was onto them. That's why this was hidden. Cole looks around nervously. If we found this, others will too. We should take what we can and get out of here. As they pack up the documents, a truck engine roars outside. Tires crunch on gravel. Amy freezes. Through the window, she sees two men step out, not locals. They move with purpose. Go, Cole whispers. They slip out the back door and into the trees, clutching the files tight. The sound of footsteps follows, echoing through the woods. The tension rises with every heartbeat. Finally, they reach the horses tied near the clearing and ride off, the wind whipping against their faces. The camera follows them through the forest, branches breaking, hooves pounding, danger closing in behind. Then silence. They don't stop until they see the open fields of Heartland again. Amy dismounts, breathless but unbroken. She holds up the folder. This is what Ty died protecting. Lou meets them at the gate, fear written all over her face. Amy, what happened? Amy hands her the documents. Proof of what Ty found. Of what we have to fix. Jack takes the papers, scanning them slowly. His voice grows low. Then I guess the fight's just begun. The camera pans wide, the family standing together under the rising dawn, shadows long behind them, the future uncertain. Voiceover fades in. Some truths stay buried until someone's brave enough to dig them up. But in Heartland, courage runs deep, deeper than blood, deeper than loss. Amy looks out toward the horizon, Ty's letter still clutched in her hand. The wind picks up again, whispering through the fields. The mystery isn't over. It's only just beginning. Fade to black, text on screen. Heartland Season 19, Episode 7, The Promise He Left Behind.